put some, you know, just cheap oil in there and a cheap filter. Oh, that's antifreeze. Put antifreeze in your engine bay. So we got this nice little beautiful orange cute filter and some super tech. Great, so we got our thermostat back on. Now I'm just gonna clean up around this area. There's some schmutz and dirt in here and try to keep it covered, obviously not get any debris in there. But just clean up around this general area, get it a little nicer while we're in here. And then I think after that we're gonna take a little lunch and then we'll put the new intake on, which we have over here and which you can't really see, but we did go ahead and buy a aftermarket Felpro gasket, that orange little gasket you're seeing here. It's not that much different, but they say it's a little nicer. Some of the comments I read while researching this said to go with the gasket. So for a couple bucks, you know, put the nicer gasket in there. Hopefully it lasts a little longer. So that's the plan, but we're gonna have a famous Scott lunch here, and then we'll get back in action, keep going. Janky, do thank you. Alright, welcome back to Janky AF. If you're just joining us for the first time, I'd suggest going back and seeing at least the first part of this video, if not all the way from the beginning. But if not, that's fine too, and welcome to the present, which was actually like 4 months ago, I think in August, when we actually did this work. Anyways, as you will see in a second, we ran into a little problem wherein we couldn't get the mass airflow sensor to match up correctly with the bracket when seated on the end of the upper intake plenum. So of course, after installing everything very carefully and torque specking everything, doing everything spec, we had to rip it all off so that we could attach the mass airflow sensor on it as one unit and then reinstall the whole thing again. Now this kind of makes sense because we actually took it off as one unit, but then we kind of forgot that, so I think somewhere in that disassembly process things changed. This will be a little bit redundant. I'm going to kind of explain it again in the video, but in the design world, redundancy is a good thing often. So with that, Janky do thanky. You know, every once in a while you just run into a problem that you can't seem to figure out. So now when we, it's kind of dimming, try to put the little mass airflow sensor back on, there's this little bracket right here, and it seems like there should be a nut over, but we are able to remove the whole thing as one piece with the intake, or with the upper intake here. So we're wondering if that was still bolted on, we wouldn't have been able to get it off. And then if there's a gap between this space and where it goes, you can see that. So you can't really, it wants to wobble and there's play in there. So we don't know what the heck's going on. It looks like maybe there was another bolt at one time, but it wasn't there when we got in here because we didn't take it off. Also this, on my great aftermarket thing, this captive bolt or nut right here should not be spinning like that. So thanks to the great aftermarket part for being janky. So I think we're just going to take this off again, put the whole thing back together as one, and then slip it back down like we got it off, and hopefully that will, you know, at least allow us to get it back on. So that's exactly what we did. As you can see, just took the intake manifold off and secured the mass airflow sensor to it in place, and then took the whole thing together as an entire unit and put it in place before bolting it on. Oh, interesting. Alright. Perfect. So you do have a torque spec here, and then all these, when you put them into the, bolt them onto the rest of the motor, they all have torque spec, which in this case is 89 foot-pounds. So just
inch-pounds.
Inch-pounds, yeah. Oh, inch-pounds.
Yes.
Lightweight. Be aware of that.
It's actually pound inches if you want to be technical.
Pound inches, yes.
It's not inch pound, it's pound inches. So yeah, that makes sense now to me.
So now
everything fits. Everything fits well.
Yep. Let's see where this. Yeah. So it's oh, I see.
See, that makes sense now.
So then now there would be another bolt on that. Like there's, I don't know, but there's still a. I mean,
How the hell did I loosen it?
I don't think you did until we pulled it out.
Until we pulled, yeah, you're right. Yep. Yeah. Till we pulled it off. Yep.
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 And so I guess if
So
we
that
want
makes
to,
all the
we'll
sense
find
in the
a
world.
find a 13-inch nut and just put it on there. Just
If you want. If you want.
OEM.
But that's exactly
Stock.
what it was.
All right, back up and running. So now we're just going to torque all these down like we did before, and there's a pattern too. You want to sort of go. There's a, you know, if you can find the exact pattern, but essentially
Inside to out.
inside to out. So it's kind of like just when you're tightening a wheel on a with lug nuts. You know, you do a star pattern, so you're not all tightening in sequential order. So it just helps it tighten down better.
Basically, with any
More
intake
even.
manifold or any sort of manifold or head
Yep.
or head gasket, you want to go the inside bolts first. So 1, 2, and then move to the outside in a pattern like this.
Yep.
And that's typical with any sort of this application.
Mhm.
So, and that's what we found on the worldwide interweb.
Yeah, the information superhighway is what I call
Yeah,
it.
the Google machine.
Yeah.
So that's what we're following, and that's we're doing it properly and right. So
Yep.
all right, we're ready to torque them.
Right, so we successfully got the upper intake back on, your mass airflow sensor, your EGR, which is again an emissions thing. I keep forgetting what it stands for. Emissions,
Exhaust gas recirculation.
exhaust gas race. You know, I've recirculated a fair bit of gas in my day.
We both did today.
Yeah. So now we have these. Here's your fuel rail. And we have all these. We're going to replace the O-rings on the fuel injectors. 6 of them, obviously, for 6-cylinder engine. So we'll take those off, clean it up, and we're going to even use the gas that we got from the system. So how's that for you know, recycle, reuse, repurpose? Yeah, exactly. Upcycling. We're upcycling. Intake back on. Fuel rail back on, fuel injectors cleaned with new O-rings, airbox back on, throttle back on, and you got your cruise control going on down there too, which is funny. Look at this. Cruise control is just this cable. This cable just runs all the way to your gas pedal, and this cable is your cruise control. It's powered by a vacuum right here, and you can see that little action. You hit that, and it just basically holds the throttle down, right? It's kind of cool. So we don't have any coolant in the car yet, but we're gonna just turn the key and make sure we don't have any gas leaks.
And
And
put your gas cap back on.
oh yeah, that's probably a good idea.
That off. There's a depressurizing.
Yep.
I don't see any leaks.
Sound like the fuel pump's going.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. Turn it off.
Actually, hang on.
Uh-oh.
I do see a leak.
Oh, shit.
It's coming from the main feed right here.
Oh yeah. Oh, is it?
I don't know if it's because we didn't clean it off or what, but it's right when
This one?
Yeah, it wasn't leaking until like
Yeah.
almost when you turned it off. It started pouring out.
Oh really?
Not pouring out, but
You've been dripping.
maybe we should clean that up. I don't know.
Yeah. But it's nothing that we tinkered with.
No.
Which is the good news. The bad news is maybe it. What part is that? I don't even know. Hold up. Ooh, boy. Get in the eye?
No. Almost. Yeah, that's right. It's pressurized still.
Yeah. Well, I just call it. That'll be first order of business tomorrow. We'll depressurize it again.
I do have a feeling though.
Yeah.
Once it gets its pressure, it will stop leaking on its own. I have a feeling.
Yeah.
But just because I saw it, I had to say something.
Yeah, of course. You want gas pouring out when you're driving. All right.
Alright.
Let's call it.
Okay.
So we are going to leave it there for now, and even though there are a few more parts to this series, which I will be releasing, I just wanted to quickly fast forward to the present, just to give you an update, because these videos have sort of been trickling out, and I want to sort of stay on top of the present moment as we, go ahead and document the process. So more coming soon. Enjoy this little update and a little bit of a rant, and catch you for the next one. All right, Janky do Thanky. Right, and welcome back, Janky AF. Well, hopefully you've just seen the second half of our Trouble in Buick Paradise restoration video. It's a bitter cold day here. Fast forward a couple of months now as things seem to go. And, here we have it. Beautiful, beautiful Buick. It's been sitting, it's been neglected. We're going to see if she starts up here, which I'm dubious of, but I'm finally getting it towed to the shop, having some professionals look at it. Here we go. Oh, we got nothing, which is great. Because now I'll probably have to get it jumped. Look at this. Look at that. Where is this moisture coming from? I don't get it. Terrible. I mean, you wonder why there's so much surface rust on here. Look at all this moisture. And this is what happens when classic cars are neglected. They just get worse and worse and worse. And when you don't have the means to store them, to keep them running when you're trying to get multiple cars going, it's just a sad, sad situation. Of course, we got more oil coming in here. The frame is, not looking the greatest. It's mostly just surface rust, but you can see that it just deteriorates more and more. It's such a sad situation. So like I said, I'm gonna get it towed up to a good shop that I found that's did some great work to my Aerostar. You can see the paint starting to come off the wheels here too. You need some another rust treatment and painting session. I noticed there's some stuff starting to bubble up here that wasn't there before. So it's just sad, but overall still in great shape for a 1995 LeSabre. We're gonna get it towed up to a reputable shop, like I was saying, and get some more work done on it. And now we have the oil pan, we have the battery box is like rusty, one of the battery terminals is messed up. Of course, we do this work to the upper intake manifold, and the shop tells me that it's actually the lower intake manifold that goes on these things, which means you have to take everything off of all the work you've done already to get in there again. And then the exhaust leak, which they said they could maybe weld on a bung, technical term. So time to just get a quote on what it's really going to take. And now, of course, you look on the underneath and it's like, well, those fuel lines don't look great. So how long are those going to hold out? Of course, you really don't want to have faulty fuel lines. I imagine it's going to be at least as much, if not more, than the brake lines to replace. So it's like dumping money, dumping money, dumping money. Of course, when you're done, you probably have the nicest Buick in town, But the question is, what's the resale value of it? Now, I kind of like at Janky AF, we kind of proudly lower the resale value of every car that we accumulate. And there is like a perverse pride in that, because it shows that we just love the cars so much and we're not really worried about protecting them as investments and assets in that whole game, as our great neighbor Skinner drives by. So anyways, that's a ramble. Just wanted to bring you up to the present moment in time. It'll get shipped out of here just after Christmas, and hopefully, at this point, I'm like, I just care so much about this car that I want to see it getting into the proper condition. I could try to sell it and get out of it for a little bit more than I paid for it, but with all I've pumped into it already, it's like, man, halfway there, someone that could do a little bit more work themselves could, I guess, take it on as a project. But boy, I put 6 miles on these tires, you know. It's like I'd like to enjoy the car for what it is. I still want to do the roof and get that all shined up, sanded down, and have a great little artistic plan for that. Anyways, you get the picture. So of course we'll keep you updated on this Buick. I've actually got quite a bit of engagement on this Buick. People really seem to like this thing, so it makes me feel like I'm not the only one. I think they, styling wise, they really are an underrated gem of a car. The other thing I was going to do is maybe get, now the back seats are in such good condition, but the front seats are torn up. Let me know what you think. I was going to maybe get some blue or red cloth seats to put in here. I think that would look kind of cool. Or should I just keep the original ones as they are? Should I try to get them sewed and repaired? You know, I kind of like making the car a little funky while keeping it mostly stock. So let me know what you think about that, what I should do to it. But glad there's some love out there for this 95 LeSabre, 3800 motor, and I just think a great looking car. So, you know, a baby land yacht, as it were, with like better fuel mileage than a V8 would be. It's kind of a cool car. Anyways, thanks for watching. Until next time, Janky do Thanky.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
You weld on a bung.